You know, I've been thinking about how two people can be anti the same evil, and yet our vision of how things ought to be can be, well, incompatible at best and horrifically opposed at worst.
Whoa, where does that come from?
Well, 1984 by George Orwell.
Ah, I remember us reading that book together. However, I don't remember such a point like that in the book.
Well, technically that's true, but do you remember this scene towards the end of the book where Winston is trying to join the resistance, or he's under the guise that he is, and he's talking to O'Brien, and O'Brien asks him these questions. He asks him if he's willing to forge, to cheat, to lie, to steal, to even harm others, so long as it weakens the party.
Yes, I remember that very clearly. He was full of so much righteous indignation towards the system, towards the violence, towards the lack of respect for basic human fundamental experiences, to the point that he answered a resounding yes to every question.
Exactly. He was a man who knew what he hated very well. He was anti-Big Brother, even if it meant corruption, death, and harm to others. In fact, the more corrupt the better, as an act of rebellion against a culture that didn't want those things to exist. He allied himself with anyone who shared that sentiment. Or was he pro-anything? Did he and his allies share any common goal outside of their hatred?
That's a really good question. In the world right now, full of so many injustices and righteous reasons to be angry, we should be cautious about choosing friends and alliances based on mutual hatred.
Yeah, exactly. Anger in its healthiest form is meant to protect, right?
Very
We talk
true.
about that a lot. If we become so shrouded in anger that we forget the whole point, we can turn a blind eye to ourselves committing the very acts that we were opposing.
We have to be very careful when we find ourselves being anti this or anti that. That's cool, but you're pro what? What kind of future are you trying to build?